Are you tired of chasing the next holy grail trading system? Well, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're going to cut through all that noise with 5 powerful, kind of unconventional tips from the book Naked Forex. Let's dive right in. You know, the trading world is just flooded with what the book calls modern versions of snake oil cures. We've all seen it, right? Those super complex charts covered in squiggly lines and gurus promising foolproof, can't-lose systems. It creates this environment where it's almost impossible to figure out what actually works. And the stakes, they couldn't be higher. Check out this number, 74.8%. According to broker reports mentioned in the book, that's the percentage of retail Forex traders who do not consistently make money. That's almost 3 out of every 4 people. Now, that's not meant to scare you, but it's meant to show you exactly why we need a completely different approach. So, here's our game plan. First, we're going to tackle the big myth that holds most traders back. I'm talking about the indicator illusion. Then, we're going to walk through 5 actionable tips, one by one, that build on each other to create a solid foundation for your trading. Okay, first things first, before we can build a solid trading practice, we've got to tear down some of the flawed beliefs that so many of us start with. According to the book, most failures really stem from a few core misunderstandings about what success in trading actually looks like. And here they are, the big 3 myths. The idea that you need indicators, that your system has to be super complicated. And this last one is the real killer, the belief that the trading system itself is the key to getting rich. These myths create this vicious cycle of searching and blaming that keeps traders from focusing on the one thing they can actually control, themselves. So that brings us to tip number 1, which is the perfect antidote to that first myth. It's a whole philosophy called naked trading, and it's all about stripping things back to basics and just listening to what the market is telling you. So what on earth is naked trading? Well, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's trading based on pure, raw price action. No indicators, no oscillators, no distractions cluttering up your screen. It's all about learning to read the naked truth of the market, right from the price chart, the most direct feedback you can possibly get. And this chart here just perfectly breaks down the difference. See, indicators are lagging. They're derived from price. They create this extra layer of what the book calls secondary thinking. You end up analyzing the indicator instead of the actual market. And when a trade goes bad, it's so easy to just blame the indicator. Naked trading forces you to take full ownership. You have to focus directly on what the price is doing, right here, right now. All right, let's move on to our second tip. Think about it for a second. A great system is totally useless without the skill to use it. I mean, you wouldn't expect a pro athlete or a concert pianist to succeed without tons of practice, right? Well, trading is no different. It requires deliberate, focused practice to get good. There are no shortcuts, but there is a way to speed up that learning curve. The book lays out this really clear, methodical path. First, just get comfortable with the basics, like drawing support and resistance sounds. Then, and this is huge, specialize in just one trade setup. Become a master of one thing. The most critical step, backtest it thousands of times until you have unshakable confidence in it. Only then do you move to a small, live account. This whole process is what turns you from a rookie into an expert with real, proven experience. This brings us to what might be the single most critical piece of the puzzle, your mindset. It's not the system that makes you profitable. It's the psychology you bring to the table when you're executing that system. And if you don't master this part, you get stuck in something the authors call the cycle of doom. And this slide just illustrates the trap perfectly, the cycle of doom. Look familiar? A trader starts with the search, hunting for that holy grail system. Then comes the action, where they trade it for a little while. But after a few losses, which are inevitable, they enter the blame phase. They blame the system, say it's broken, and start the search all over again. It's just an exhausting, account-destroying loop. Now, inside this cycle, traders usually fall into one of 2 camps. You've got the terrible system trader, who's always tinkering or looking for a new system. Then there's the bad market trader, who blames everything on external conditions. See the pattern here? Both mindsets are just ways to avoid taking responsibility, and that prevents any real learning or growth from ever happening. And this quote just nails it, doesn't it? It perfectly captures the essence of that cycle of doom. The only way to break free is to stop trying to change the system and start working on yourself. It's about building the discipline and the confidence to stick with your plan through the wins and the losses. So, how do we actually turn a strong mindset into real-world action? Well, that's where our fourth tip comes in. You have to build a rule book, a personal, non-negotiable trading plan. This is what turns trading from a random gamble into a disciplined business. Your rulebook needs to answer these key questions before you ever even think about placing a trade. What's my absolute max risk? When do I call it quits for the week? What exact setups am I looking for? How am I going to take profits? When you define all these rules ahead of time, you take emotion out of the equation when the pressure's on. And when it comes to risk, this is one of the best concepts I've ever heard, the sleeping point. It is the ultimate personal gut check. If you place a trade and you can't sleep, you find yourself anxiously checking your phone all night. Your position size is too big. It's as simple as that. Your risk should always be at a level that you can genuinely accept and then just walk away. All right, this leads us to our final and maybe the most important tip of all. Before you can even think about making big profits, your number one job is just to survive. Seriously, professional trading is a game of defense first and offense second. You've got to protect your capital. Survival really boils down to these principles. First, protecting your account is goal number one above all else. Then, you plan for the worst-case scenario on every single trade. By always risking the same small percentage, you build what the book calls trading tolerance, and you become almost immune to those emotional swings. And finally, you have to learn to let go of your ego. The market is always right. Your job is to listen, not to argue with it. And that really brings us to the core message of this whole thing. You can have the best system on the planet, but if you haven't mastered your mindset, built a rulebook, and learned to play defense, you're still gonna fail. The system is just a tool. You are the expert who makes it work. Success in this game doesn't come from some secret indicator. It comes from the determination to do the hard, sometimes boring work of backtesting, of following your rules, of managing your own psychology. That determination, that grit, is what's going to carry you through the tough times and ultimately lead you to success. So I'll leave you with this question. It's really easy to keep searching for that next perfect system. It's much, much harder to turn inward and do the work it takes to become a true trading expert. But at the end of the day, that is the only path that leads to consistent results. The question is, are you ready to take it?